Hello. So in this video, I just want to show you how easy it is to turn your courses, whatever courses or webinars or online sessions you've been giving to students and clients, how you can turn them into a Kindle book. So for example, I've been giving the online marketing research course at TAF College. This is one of the 3 courses I've been giving, and I already, like you, I already developed all the slides, right? That's a lot of work to do research and develop those slides and the assignments and the exercises. So I might as well capture everything and put them into a Kindle book. So this is Kindle Create. This is the free software that you can download from Amazon. So let's create a new Kindle book. I click on Create New, and then I just choose a document. So I'm just going to choose any Word document. I'm going to save it under new name. So let's say I'm going to choose this document. All these are my Kindle books, by the way. And so when you import a new Word document, it can be a blank document, it can be a Word document that you've been working on. It doesn't matter, it's the same process. So now I have this new Word document. So I'm just gonna rename it. Whoops, sorry about this. So I'm gonna rename it as so I'm gonna rename it as Online Marketing Research. Now keep in mind that writing this Kindle book is very easy if you've developed a course already. So since you developed a course and you've been teaching it at TAF College or McGill University or Concordia, you might as well create a Kindle book. That could be a compressed version of the course, because obviously a book is not the same thing as a course. There's no interaction in a book. So what you want to do is you want to keep your Kindle book as simple as possible. You don't want to overwhelm people. Why? Because if you overwhelm them with information, there's no way for them to ask you questions if they have questions, right? So you want to keep your Kindle book, maybe 10 or 20 pages. Just explain the basics, and if they want to, they can attend your Zoom course live, or they can purchase your online video course on Teachable or Udemy or Thinkific. So this is my Kindle book. So let me go back to my slides. So these are the 8 questions that I'm proposing in my marketing research course, and these are the questions that business people, especially entrepreneurs or any manager that is launching a new product, they have to really answer these questions. And one question is not more important than the other, but I find that the who question, in other words, like who is a customer, and the what question, I'm not sure if it's here, but the what question has to do with the product. Those are the 2 most important questions. But anyways, here you have 8 different questions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just copy these questions. And by the way, the reason why I start with questions is that marketing research is really about asking questions, right? You can do a formal survey, or you can do a focus group, or some kind of exploratory research through interviews, but it's really about asking questions. So I'm just gonna copy this one, and I'm gonna insert it in Kindle. Now the amazing thing about Kindle Create is that you can see the environment. It looks very much like the final Kindle book that you're gonna publish on Amazon. So what happens psychologically is that as an author, and this could be your very first book, you feel that you're so close to the finish line, right? This is very encouraging, because if you were to do this in a Word document, your mind is thinking, well, it's just a Word document, I'm not really an author. But when you put it in the form of a Kindle book like this, and let me just show you the preview here, it feels like, so this is what your readers will see, right, on their tablet. It feels like it's almost done, and they can view it on their phone. So you click on phone here, and this is what they see on their phone. So psychologically, anyways, that's what happens with me. I feel very motivated because I'm so close to the finish line. Now, if you're like me, and I'm sure you will publish a second, a third book, because the first book is always very difficult. You can replicate the same chapter. So for example, the first chapter will always be introduction, and then about the author, because you want readers to appreciate your authority, your experience, how to use this book. So these sections are kind of standardized, so you can always insert them in every Kindle book. So anyways, let's continue. So this is the first question, the who, and the next question, it's going to be the why. So I just copy and paste. And what's really amazing, and I'm going to show you now, what's really amazing is that you can use these features to format your book very professionally. And by the way, the reason why you should write your book using Kindle Create is that when you generate the final Kindle package and you upload it on Amazon, it's more likely to be accepted as opposed to writing a Word document. Because if you upload a Word document, then Amazon has to reformat it as a Kindle book, and there might be problems with the formatting. So it's better to create with Kindle Create. So now I'm gonna create chapters, and this is really powerful. So introduction is a chapter, so I just put my cursor here and I click on chapter title, and right away you see it becomes a chapter. Same thing with about the author. I click on chapter title, same thing about how to use this book. Okay, so here we have 8 questions. I'm gonna put 8 key questions. That will be a chapter, right? And then I click chapter title, it becomes a chapter. So you see here on the left hand side, the first chapter, introduction, about the author, how to use his book, 8 key questions. So this really helps because once again, you feel like you're making progress. You're creating the Kindle book like live. So another interesting feature is that the first paragraph is so let me just write something. Let's say Peter graduated from McGill, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is my bio. But what's interesting is that you can click on chapter first paragraph, and it has this nice feature, right? So the first letter is in big capital letter, and then you can write you can write the rest. And so it's like what I said before, you feel like you're making rapid progress. Okay, and then he also created several startups as a serial entrepreneur, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is the first page of a chapter. You can do the same thing about introduction, and you can do the same thing about this one. So for example, here the first paragraph, I click here, and the first paragraph can be something like there are basically 8 crucial questions to ask in order to get valuable information that will decision making. There you go. And then I talk more about these 8 questions. So I just wanted to introduce you to the idea that it's super easy to create a Kindle book, especially if you've created your PowerPoint slides already. The big difference, I guess, is that when you're showing these slides, you can verbally explain to students, right? You're standing in a classroom or in a Zoom session, you're explaining what you mean. But what happens with a Kindle book is that you don't have an audience. If they have questions, you're not there to explain. So your book has to be super simple, and it has to be self-explanatory. It's got to explain everything. It's got to predict their questions. It's got to predict points where they might be confused. So it's very different. A book is very different, but you can always update your book. Like if you offer this book, let's say for $10, and at the end you can invite readers to ask you questions, and the more questions they ask you, the more you're going to be able to update your book so that you answer those questions in the book itself, right? So it's always good to ask readers to send you their questions. So on that score, I'm gonna add a chapter here. You have to save it once in a while, so I'm gonna save it under it's gonna be online marketing research. Boom. So one chapter could be free resources. Another one can be contact the author, professor, and of course, okay, let me just create a chapter titles. And of course here you want to put acknowledgements, right? Whoop. You want to thank the people who helped you with this book. Acknowledgements. That's a chapter title. And so already you see that within a few minutes I have a couple of chapters already. I can even create more chapters, how to use this book, and then here it would be what is online marketing research. And these are basically the same questions. So if you're teaching project management, it would be what is project management, because you really can't assume that readers know anything about your topic, right? You really want to start from scratch. Imagine that the reader has zero knowledge about your subject. What is online marketing research? And the next question, why is research important? That's another chapter. Now I say chapter, but each chapter can have just like 2 or 3 pages, right? But the importance of a chapter is that every time that the reader makes it to the next chapter, he or she will feel some sense of accomplishment, right? So it's better to have short chapters than to have one chapter that is too long, because then it feels like it feels too difficult to go through those chapters. And it's especially important when you're teaching a technical topic like marketing research. It's very important to really go slowly. I mean, if you explain everything and readers really get it, then they can proceed to the second book, which can be more advanced. But the first Kindle book, and this is a mistake that a lot of people make, really make it super simple, make it enjoyable. Okay, the point here in a Kindle book of 20 pages is not really to show everything that you know. That's not the point. The point of teaching is not to brag or to show how much you know. The point of teaching, whether in a Zoom session or in a classroom or through a Kindle book, the point of teaching is really to help them to understand something and be able to apply it. So it's got to be very practical. So this is not really a textbook, because you've studied at college and university before. You've seen those textbooks. They are like 200, 300 pages, and it's very detailed, but that's not the point of a Kindle book. A Kindle book is a book that people can read on their phone, on their tablet, on their laptop computers, and it's something that they want to read, and it's got to be crystal clear. So that's the new way to publish books. Instead of writing like one mega textbook of 300 pages, it's much better to write a series of Kindle books, and each one will focus on a certain level. So this is online marketing research, like really for beginners. I could put for beginners, but I'm just gonna say yeah, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna put online marketing research. It's really for beginners. So let me just add a couple of chapters so that you see how easy it is to create those chapters. So the first one is 8 key questions, and after that we have I can actually move those chapters. This is really amazing. So the 8 key questions, so let's say I wanted to move it up here. I can do that. Oh my god, that's just amazing. I didn't know that. Okay, so I'm going to move the 8 key questions after why is research important. Wow, that's really funny. Okay, why is your 8 key question? Okay, so after the 8 key questions, well, here, why is research important? I'm just going to put, because decisions are important. So anyways, this is just a draft, but just to show you, okay. So 8 key questions, and the next one is, let's say, the marketing research process. So there are basically 6 or 8 steps in that process, so that's a whole chapter. And then another chapter will be data collection. Another one is data yes, we have to say it once in a while, data analysis, and then management discussions, right? And then actionable insights. So before we do the data collection, we have exploratory research, and this is where we explore through interviews and secondary research. Let's say scoping the research project. Here we can have descriptive research. So all of these are chapters, right? So I'm just gonna create chapters here, and I just want to show you when you click on preview that you can see that your book is taking shape, even though we don't have the paragraphs yet, but you can see here on the left hand side all these chapters. So if I click on preview, this is what it looks like, right? So we have like probably 15 pages. So you feel that your Kindle book is taking shape, it's being fleshed out. And now all you have to do is just insert a couple of paragraphs, and it doesn't have to be perfect. After you upload your Kindle package, the first edition, you sell it for $10, which is what I recommend. And but whatever price you charge, your customers have no risk whatsoever, because they have 1 week to read your Kindle book, and if they don't like it, they can get a refund instantly. So there's no risk. And in the meantime, while they're reading your first edition, you can continue to work on your book to create the second edition, which might have more pages, it might have more diagrams. But I find that this is a very easy, very organic way to publish. It's not in the old days where you had to really present the perfect manuscript, and then the publisher takes over and they print thousands of copies and they distribute all over the world. I mean, that's still being done, but it's just too hard for most people. Today you can self-publish, right? You can create a Kindle book from your course, and you can upload it, and you can generate passive income that way. And like I said, if you invite people to contact you and ask you questions, then your readers and customers, they will help you to continually develop your Kindle book so that it becomes better and better. And eventually, who knows, you might be able to sell your Kindle book for $30 or more, because there's so much content. So anyways, guys, this is a video where I wanted to share with you how easy it is to create a Kindle book. And I hope you take advantage of it. Amazon is worldwide. It has an amazing brand. So it's just my intention is really just to help all the teachers out there who have good course content, and it's therefore really easy for them to convert that course material into a Kindle book and make money from that, which is what I'm doing right now. So if you like this video, please share it with your fellow teachers, and I'll see you in the next video.